Welcome, dear viewers, to the bell right after Lace's first boss fight in Hollow Knight Silksong. The last thing I've done is beat Lace, and I did so with the Volt Vessels, the Pimpillo, the Polyp Pouch, and max tool damage. And that's a pretty good outline of what this video is all about. I have seen in my own videos and shown you all that it is very possible to skip early bosses in Hollow Knight Silksong. It's very possible to skip the Bell Beast and Lace 1. You can even go all the way to Act 2 and fight Lace 2 without despawning Lace 1. And I'm gonna run out of this room so this bell makes no sounds. But yeah, once I realized you could skip these early bosses who have no resistance to upgrade damage and some of the lowest health pools in this game, I wanted to see how much we could truly push the envelope and absolutely demolish some of the earliest bosses in Hollow Knight Silksong using all of the upgrades and skills this game has to offer. And really, most of this is doable without the use of many major glitches. Now, I do use a few glitches in this video, but mostly it's just skips and weird mechanics that Team Cherry probably didn't think of that allow you to go out of your way to get the most powerful upgrades and tools in this game before confronting any of these bosses. And I did enjoy making this video, but I want to point out that this is probably one of the longest videos I've ever had to record, from making mistakes and the sheer length of playing through most of this game. So if you enjoy it, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Let's go. Now, sadly, we are not going to be able to skip one boss in the early game, the Moss Mother. Save like warping out of this fight and using some of the most broken glitches that exist only on PC, this fight is pretty much unskippable. You have access to nothing, there's one straight path, you have to kill Moss Mother. So I'm just gonna demolish her in seconds anyway, because Moss Mother as a boss fight is made to be demolished in seconds. I did not have to think about that at all. So really, this fight almost fits the whole goal of this video anyway. So it's almost perfect. But after killing Moss Mother, we can skip every major boss that comes up here. So we can immediately go and say hi to the Bell Beast, say hi to Era. But instead of killing her here, we're going to leave her be to kill her in a much more permanent way later. For now, we'll just take this simple key we bought from Peb and go to the Wormways. And in the Wormways, we'll find that we can easily make our way through using some very simple applications of our own death and our own ability to bind and heal stall mid-air. And by doing so, we can get through the entire Wormways while never having the ability to dash or any other movement abilities, and exit out in Shellwood. And if we were just stuck in Shellwood, that wouldn't be much better. But fortunately, we're not. We can go and do the classic patent pending skip, Garama skip, where we just spam taunt over and over and over and bring this enemy over. And by using this, we can also skip fighting Sister Splinter. Our goal here is to get as much complete as possible, not only while failing to kill the Bell Beast, but while failing to kill any boss, because we want to come back and destroy these bosses when we're much more powerful. We do this skip better, and don't miss it multiple times in a row. Then we come to the room to the left of the Cling Grip, and we can make it through very simply with no movement abilities whatsoever. And by very simply, I mean very difficultly. Do not do this unless you have a good plan in mind. It is not an easy skip to do, but it is doable. And because it's doable, we can exit out in this room here and pick up the Cling Grip as our first movement ability in Hollow Knight Silksong. A combination of words in a sentence that I don't imagine Team Cherry thought was possible when they were designing this game. But fortunately for us, it is, and because we have access to the Cling Grip, we can bring this to Bellhart, where we are not able to free the denizens, but we are able to go into the secret room to the right of the Bellway, and by going through here, we can exit out into the shortcut that Team Cherry designed to send you out into the Marrow. So we have now bypassed the Bell Beast entirely, and we have gotten the Marrow title card from probably the weirdest location anyone has ever seen it, because this is our first time entering this area. So you may be asking at this point, Kilroy, it's cool that we can skip these bosses, but when we can't kill any bosses, aren't we still locking ourselves out of a lot of the abilities that we would want to deal more damage? Because a lot of our upgrades are somewhat locked behind the progression that bosses like the Bell Beast require. Without the Bell Beast, we cannot access the Bellway, and without the Bellway, we don't have the ability to get to the slab, and without killing the Widow, we don't have any access to Bellhart's facilities, which means one of the facilities we don't have access to without killing the Widow is the ability to upgrade our Needle. So how are we going to upgrade ourselves at all if we literally can't upgrade our Needle to deal more damage? Well, dear viewer, there is more than just the Needle as a damage dealing tool in Silksong. There are also red tools, and red tools are possibly even more powerful than your Needle if you have the ability to upgrade them enough. And unlike the ability to upgrade the Needle, we fully have access to the ability to get damage upgrades using the crafting kit. And more than that, because we bypassed the Bell Beast, the world is kind of our oyster, and we can go out and try and get as many new tools and new movement abilities as we could possibly want. In theory, anyway. I went out and bought one crafting kit and the Sting Shard from the Underworks, but did you know that if you skip Lace's first boss fight, she will appear in multiple areas and stop you from progressing unless she talks to you? And if you talk to her here, you despawn her first boss fight, which means we have lost all access to all items and upgrades that would be found in Sinner's Road and in the Blasted Steps. And that is a lot of upgrades that we would want, unfortunately. Who cares about the Blasted Steps? I know my main gal Yarnaby has got my back with some upgrades. Guys, she does not have my back. She does not have anything to give me. Well, you know what? Why don't I just steal from above her house? I'm gonna go up, break this secret path right here, and get myself the Pimpillo. By bringing a singular craft metal to this area here, you can craft the Pimpillo. Essentially, you can craft a bomb. And the Pimpillo has a lot of damage to deal. So it is probably one of the best tools I could imagine throwing at the Bell Beast to cause her to explode and die very quickly. And with that and the Sting Shard, those are a pretty good combination of tools on their own. And I know there's at least one more crafting kit I can get from halfway home by doing the Crawbug clearing quest. I was wrong, because apparently, talking to Craig here only has him offer you to get a drink. He does not give you the quest until Bellhart is freed for some reason. So no crafting kit for us. Fortunately for me, when one plan falls apart, others succeed gloriously. It turns out that if you go to Lace's first boss fight and encounter her, but don't kill her, because obviously we want to kill her later, you can save and quit. And simply by starting this boss fight with her in the Deep Docks, that despawns all of those interactions with her in other areas of the game, at least other areas of Act 1. Which means, while we previously were fully locked out of Sinner's Road activity because we didn't want to despawn Lace's first boss fight, simply by activating that boss fight and running away, it is now impossible to deactivate that boss fight through these interactions. Which means, we now have full access to the amazing items that you can find in Sinner's Road. And I will list what items those are once I come back from being dead. The first and the worst item that I can get in this new unlocked area is the Bard Bracelet. And while it is a generally good item when you have Needle upgrades, we do not, and we will never have Needle upgrades until we beat Widow. So adding basically 1 point of damage doesn't matter much. The second, and the really important item we want to get here, are the tags from Krull and Benjen, who I only learned in the creation of this video that you cannot get to them if you don't have the Drifter's Cloak. I believe it is nigh on impossible. But that leads to the third item that we want from here, the key. The simple key that we can get here is crucially important because we use our only other simple key in Act 1 to go to the Wormways. And if we want to get to Far Fields to get the Drifter's Cloak, you either have to beat Lace 1 or you have to have a simple key. And since obviously we can't beat Lace 1, given the whole point of this video. We need to get this simple key, and having this simple key in access now is incredible because it unlocks the Drifter's Cloak, which not only unlocks attacks, it gives us way more movability and unlocks certain things in the future, like the claw line. So, because we now can get the simple key, we can go to get the Drifter's Cloak. But Kilroy, you may be asking, don't you have to beat 4th Chorus to leave with the Drifter's Cloak? And I thought that at first, but it turns out you don't have to do that either. After that strangely intense cutscene, the game expects you to run out to the left, beat the 4th Chorus, show yourself how you can learn to use the Drifter's Cloak, and be a good little tutorialized gamer. But you can be a bad tutorialized gamer and skip all of the passive tutorials that Team Cherry is trying to give you in this game. And it's really not even that hard to do so. There are a lot of skips in this game that require mechanics that are unintuitive, you know, like volt pogoing and stuff that really you wouldn't expect to work. But you can just skip the 4th Chorus by running to the left of it and jumping at the right time. It's pretty crazy how little of a gap they made. So I've never tried this skip before, and I missed it the first time. But in this recording, it takes me 2 attempts. That's it. And we're gone. We're free. we no longer have to fight the 4th Chorus. He's stuck over there now. But yeah, this is amazing, not only because we can leave without killing the 4th Chorus, but because we can come back and kill him later once we have power. And because we can do this and make the screen freak out like it's still imagining we're over there. It is very funny that the nature of the 4th Chorus means it doesn't matter if you're there or not. It is simply programmed to attack in certain patterns regardless of what it's fighting. So even though you're not there anymore, it'll just keep assuming that something is there to die, and it's doing its best, you know? And I think we can all appreciate that. So now that we have the cloak, we can obviously go to Benji and Crawl and get everything we need with the Drifter's Cloak. And we are going to leave the 4th Chorus, even though it is no longer in its active state. It is a boss that we can encounter again, because Team Cherry does not despawn this boss unless you've killed it, or unless you've made it all the way to Act 3. And now with our vaunted ability to float across the sky, we can finally make it to Benji and Crawl and give them all of the muck maggot guts that they have wanted to eat. Is it muck maggot? It's muck roach, right? It's one of them. But the point is, we can give them their food, and they will give us the tacks. And the tacks are one of the best tools in this entire game. I was kind of worried that I would have to be reliant on just the Sting Shard, but the tacks are a far better source of damage for enemies that are grounded, which happen to be pretty much every enemy that we're going to be fighting in Act 1. So now that we have the Pimpillo and the tacks and our tool upgraded, there's only one more thing I wanted to try to do before fighting the Bell Beast in Act 1. And that thing I wanted to do is all the way in the Blasted Steps. You see, I have the Pimpillo, and I have the Straight Pin, and I have a memory locket that I can use to unlock the use of both of them at once. And it was recently, well, not that recently, but it was discovered that if you throw Pimpillo, ricochet a pin off of it, and then hit that pin with your needle, it gets an active hitbox that you can pogo off of. So theoretically, using the Pimpillo and the straight pin, or the threefold pin, I would have been able to pogo up to Grindel. And Grindel sells the only other crafting kit available in Act 2. So I could have gotten another damage boost to my tools before trying to take on the Bell Beast. That was in theory anyway, because in practice, I don't know if I'm bad or I just got the most unlucky things possible. Did you see that? That is not a pogo. That is hitting the needle into the ground, when what's supposed to happen is not that. And then I got the threefold pin and tried to do the same thing, and the same thing happened. So I decided, after like an hour of attempts, that this was not worth it, and I left. And so, after hours of setup, I come back to the Bell Beast ready to absolutely trounce her with my Pimpillos, my tacks, my pallet pouch, which I got off screen. I just got the quest. The silk spear, because I don't really care much about the silk skills. A non-upgraded needle, so I won't be using that at all. And that is why I'm not using the barbed bracelet, because it's not going to improve damage if I don't use the needle. And 1 tool damage upgrade. I wish I got 2, but the thing is, you will see, dear viewer, that simply by having the Pimpillo and the tax and 1 damage upgrade, this is going to absolutely melt the Bell Beast. It's really not nearly as much of a damage upgrade as I could have gotten, and yet it will absolutely destroy this boss in, I believe, less than a double-digit amount of seconds. So starting the timer now. Yep, I counted 9 seconds. 9-second boss fight. By stabbing her with tax and blowing her up with the pillows, we have beat the Bell Beast extremely quickly. And by doing so, we have unlocked the ability to go to the slab. And if you know anything based on a recent video of mine, dear viewer, going to the slab also means we are going to gain access to all of Act 2's upgrades in a matter of seconds. Let me give you the quick version on how to do that. Get kidnapped, go to jail, activate bench storage. What is Hornet doing? She's got some crazy animations like this. Snap a neck, get all of your items back, and now that you have bench storage active, use it to break the bounds of reality and escape the slab in a way that Team Cherry specifically wanted you not to, by going through this exit right here. And once you do that, you get trapped again, once again break the bounds of reality, fall for a couple seconds till Team Cherry takes pity on you and respawns you inbounds. And simple as that, we have now made it to the Citadel. We now have full access to Act 2 without beating any bosses at all. And now that we are in the Coral Chambers, we had to do it this way, because entering Act 2 in any other direction will get us to talk to Lace, and talking to Lace in Act 2 despawns her in Act 1. So while we're here, we might want to fix our needle problem, which means we have to kill Widow next, and we can also buy all the crafting kits available in Act 2, and we will do so because we don't have a needle that deals damage, so we are going to be using tools to demolish Widow as well. And getting those crafting kit upgrades is pretty simple. I had said upgrades plural, but really we can only get 1, because the other 2 are locked behind Grindle and the Craw house. So we can buy the second upgrade from 12th Architect, and after this we can try in vain to get probably the best damaging tool that we can get our hands on, the Volt Vessels. And I say in vain because I'm tired, man. You see, in my infinite wisdom, I decided, why not try another skip to get the Volt Vessels? Because you can't get them without Fade Down Cloak, and you can't get Fade Down Cloak without the ability to use the Needolin, which you get from Widow. So, I decided, the first skip is easy. You can bring these Grand Reeds over to Memoriam's entrance and just pogo off of them to get in here. And if that was all that you had to do, this would have been a great idea. Unfortunately for me, it was not a great idea, because there is one singular other jump that you are expected to have Fade Down Cloak for Memoriam, and that's this jump right here. And there's no enemies to kite over, no other ways to get up this jump. You know what way there is to get up this jump, dear viewer? Using the Pimpillo and the straight pin. So, I set out and thought maybe that Grindle thing was a fluke. Maybe it will work this time. No, you know what? I've decided Pimpillo pogoing is the worst trick that has ever been invented in the history of Hollow Knight Silksong, and I'm not doing it. You know what? Screw Vault Vessels. We don't need them versus Widow. We have a much better tool in access right now in Act 2. Way better than stupid bombs that can turn into a bola, that can turn into a stake. No, why don't we get a drill? A powerful drill. I've already gotten the claw line in this playthrough, so I can get to Underworks without having to go through Last Judge, and I can easily get the Delver's drill. In my opinion, a way stronger tool than the Volt Vessels ever would have been, because Widow stands still enough that we can make use of its full attack range. So add that to the tax, and Widow will be going down in record time, dear viewer. And why continue to tell you this when I can just show you it in action? We've got the tax, we've got the silk sphere, which no one cares about, we've got the most powerful drill that you have ever seen in your life, and it is tipped with poison just to add a little pain to the end of it. We're still not using the barb bracelet, because guess what? We still got no needle upgrades. But even though our needle is broken down and terrible, who cares? We got the claw line while we're fighting Widow, which I don't imagine many people can say about themselves. And I got one capacity upgrade just because it's easy to get. I bought it from Mort, and I got 2 damage upgrades. And it would be nice to get the one from Grindel, but we're not missing that much even with that, and we could still never get the 4th one, because the 4th one is only unlocked upon beating Widow. So with the combination of tax on the ground and drill to her head, Widow will not be walking away from this one, I can guarantee you that. And in fact, let me just show you what it's like with all this power. So yeah, that was a solid 50-second boss fight for one of the biggest bosses in the early game of Silksong, especially given probably 25 to 30 of those seconds were just spent on her teleporting away or phase transitioning. So, drill's just a decent bit powerful, yeah? I mean, the tax held their own, but I think every single drill hit we got off with was around 60 to 70 damage total on her around 400 HP. So basically, hit her with the drill 6 times, she's just dead. She can't handle being drilled this hard by Hornet, as I imagine most people couldn't. So, what do we got left for big bosses to go over? Well, more importantly, what have we gained by getting the Needolin? Well, we've gotten Fade Down Cloak, and we can upgrade our needle to hack him back. But you know what? I've committed to the bit at this point. I'm going to Grindel. Screw you for making me waste my time on that stupid Pimpillo skip. I can double jump now. Give me my upgrade for my toolkit, my crafting kit. And you know what? I don't care that I can upgrade my needle now. I just want to go to Lace 1 and absolutely throw her into the dirt with my 4 toolkit damage upgrades. And while I'm at it, why not get everything I couldn't get based on stupid Pimpillo skips before? Give me those Volt Vessels now that I can easily come in here and beat the stupidest and fastest enemy gauntlet in the game. 2 enemies. Great job protecting your item, guys. Why do I feel like I am forgetting a boss before I go and demolish Lace 1 for the first and last time? Oh right, the 4th chorus. I'm sure you all were wondering how I was going to beat the 4th chorus quickly. It has massive defenses, it's in the air, so things like tax won't work. How could I possibly beat this boss extremely quickly? Well, blink and you might miss it, because this is going to be close to the fastest boss of the day, dear viewer. You may not see what I'm doing off screen, but you might remember there's a rock above this boss. Guess what? It kills the boss from full, if you can get up there with things like double jump and claw line. So there you go. I think the first and only boss that we can one-shot from full HP with a rock. Incredible stuff going on in Silksong. And now, after all our hard work, our struggle, sweat, and tears, I'm ending this video beating Lace with 4 toolkit upgrades, a shining needle just in case, and really the most important thing of all, the stupid Volt Vessels and Pimpillo with Polyp Pouch. I am going to end this video and take out my frustrations on this girl by bombing her into oblivion. and as I am speaking, she is already in the process of experiencing a war veteran's worst nightmare. Constant explosions, poison on her body, although, yeah, why am I even talking? She's dead. I think we all saw where this was going the second I came in here with max upgraded tools, the Pimpillo, and the Volt Vessel. So there we go. And for all of that work, we get an unsatisfying Lace jumps away and says nothing to Hornet. You know, Team Cherry, maybe for the DLC, you should add shocked values to bosses. You'll have Lace like lose her mind when she sees Hornet absolutely push her head into the ground in a matter of 10 seconds. That would be something cool. Although, I'm glad I was able to get this done. I'm not doing all other bosses in this video. I will continue to find bosses in Act 1 to beat with this build. I mean, now that it's been completed up to this point, if you want to see me beat more bosses in extremely quick fashion using nothing but in-game mechanics, I would be more than happy to do so. But besides that, I hope you enjoyed this whole process of getting overpowered and then coming back to kick our childhood bully's face in. I feel like that's something people tend to find satisfying, so maybe Hornet found it satisfying as well. Maybe I gave her some catharsis for once. Thank you for watching, my dear viewers, and I hope you have a good day.